Very warm welcome to another vlog where you join me on the banks of my winter syndicate over in Lincoln. Now you might remember that I did a vlog on this venue back in January when I was fortunate enough to catch a lovely 42-pound mirror, but since then I've carried on fishing the water, but not a great deal has happened. It was very quiet during January. February we lost a couple of weeks to the ice, and it wasn't until March when I started to catch fish again, when I was fortunate to catch a nice double figure mirror, about 16 pounds, a fish that's grown on quite nicely over the last year since it was stocked at 7 pounds. I also had a nice 27 pounder, both coming from the shallow swim, and today you join me in a swim known as Big Double, which is a swim I've kind of persevered with during the winter months. Apparently it's got a track record of doing some big fish, so we're here today in mid-March trying to get myself some of these really big fish that's in this water. It's a very good venue, it's 30 acres in size, and there's quite a lot of units which are ready to have a good feed. It's that time of the year when things are about to happen. There's anglers turning up, the light levels are right, the conditions are perfect, and we've got about a week or so now until we get to the spring equinox, which is 22nd of March or thereabouts, which I tend to think is a great measure of when waters are going to start to switch on in the UK. I've got 3 days ahead of me, and then I've got 2 more sessions of 48 hours until the end of the winter syndicate at the end of March, and the rods are out. They're all on some decent spots, nice and hard gravelly areas, and they've been lightly baited with some bug boilies. So now it's a case of sitting back and hoping that the carp gods are with me, and one or two of these big units that's in this lake pay me a visit over the next few trips. Well, I've been persevering with this swim called the Big Double most of the winter, because apparently it's a good winter swim. I've not had a bite yet out of it until this morning. I've just had that fish there, which looks a bit of a lump. That'll definitely do. Nice scale pattern on it as well. Yeah, good fight as well, but didn't get it on the head cam. Turned the head cam on, never pressed record. It's things you do sometimes. Absolutely awesome. Another 40 pounder. Oh, check that baby out. What a lovely carp that is. 2 40 pounders on my winter ticket. Couldn't have asked for anything more, really. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that for a fish. What a carp that is. Oh my god. That is lovely. Fantastic. Real plodding fish it was. It was an half decent one. Lovely. Right, I've just been talking to Mark, who's also on this syndicate, and I've not seen him for a while, so the usual things crop up. We start chatting about life and what's going on and that, and quite surprised to hear that he's just overcome an heart attack last year. The reason why I've mentioned this is Mark's only 61 years old, and you know, it's so rare to hear about people that sort of age having heart attacks, and you're never actually going to find out what causes something like that. But Mark did mention one of the contributing factors was just lack of exercise, not moving much at all. And you do spend a lot of time in the bivvy when you're carp fishing. And I know carp fishing means different things to different people. Some guys have got really busy lives and they go fishing to just chill out and sit there and do nothing. But certainly this day and age now, there's a lot of people working whilst they're on the bank as well. I see it all the time. You know, people turn around to me and say, oh, you know, you're a full-time carp angler and things like that. Well, I don't actually fish full-time. I always have weekends off with my family and going on holidays and doing different things. But there's a lot of people now who actually do fish full-time, who are on the bank 7 days a week, religiously, for long periods of time, working, living, for whatever reason. And, you know, if you're sitting there in a bivvy just fishing, you ain't really going to be doing a great deal. It's all right for someone like me to mosquitoes out already at this time of the year. It's still middle of March, pretty cold as well, but I know one of the lads on the far bank got bitten by one last night, so he messaged me, I've just seen one then. You know, someone like me, I am active. I've got this personality that allows me to not sit down for long periods of time. I do get a bit hyperactive. I've also got a dog, so I'm walking and I'm doing things all the time. So it's easy for someone like me to say this, but you know, a lot of people just need a little bit of motivation to do things, or a little bit of a reminder to do things. And I guess this little bit I'm talking about now is just to remind carp anglers out there that sitting in the bivvy for long periods of time, not doing anything, is not good for you. It really isn't. It's a downward spiral, sitting there doing nothing, not being active, because you feel like you don't want to do anything. So you end up sitting in the bivvy, sleeping for long periods of time during the day and then sleeping at night, and that's not a healthy lifestyle. It really isn't. I reel in twice a day to walk the dog, and you'll often see me as well doing stupid things like running up and down from swim next door to the next door swim. I've clocked up some serious miles doing that, but I'm not telling everybody to go and do things like what I do at all, because there is an argument to say that being too active, like I am, is not healthy for you either, and certainly running marathons and things like that is not healthy for you. So I get that. But you know, if you're sat in the bivvy doing nothing, the point I'm trying to say is, don't just sit there doing nothing. Get up, have a little walk around, do some squats, do some leg stretches, do something. Just get yourself active. You might look like a complete buffoon doing it, and I often hear these messages coming across the lake at me, because I don't, certainly in the summer months, I actually put my running gear on when I'm running between swims, and I've seen posts, look at that fairy in his leotard and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I get it, but I just put up with it. You know, I just get on with it and know that at the end of it I'll feel a lot better from having done my run. You could probably laugh about this post, but obviously there are a lot of people that do suffer from mental health issues. There's a lot of people who also suffer from health issues as well, so it does need to be said. And I hope that by me saying this today, it's at least got one of you out there off your bed chair, off your seat, doing a little bit of walking up and down the bank, or doing some stretching, start doing some press-ups, do anything. Don't care about people laughing at you, but don't fester away your life. That's the purpose of this post. Anyway, on to catching some more fish, hopefully. That'll do. Lovely. Lovely. Another one. That's a 30. Red arrow's going over. Just as I've got that. There we go. Brilliant. I have to tie her up because she always goes for the fish, don't you? Oh, look at that sweet and innocent face and think there's nothing behind it. You just love carp, don't you? Yeah, let's let you off then. There you go. Now she wants to lick my fingers because it's got carp flavour on them, look. Carp flavour. Hey, what do you like, you little munchkin? I've had a decent session this trip because I've had a £15 common. I've also had a £36 mirror, which I had during the night, a 37.5 mirror, and then that £40 too as well. So nice little end to my winter syndicate if I don't catch anything over the next 2 sessions. But we have got 2 sessions left, 2 48-hour sessions, so there's still plenty to play for. But at the moment there's fish coming out all over. Dave over there in the boards has had one yesterday within an hour of getting here. Mark Holmes had a 36 earlier in the week. He was down for 72 hours, and somebody who was fishing over in the Bailey swim had a 38 as well. So some big ones getting caught. But it is that time of the year. There's plenty of fish in here to catch as well, so it's all about being down here at the right time, getting in the right swim, and hoping it's not too busy. But I'll definitely be back next week. I'm going to give it another 3 or 4 hours, about midday by the time I pack up. Well, somebody else just turned up as well. I can see another car turning up. So there you go. It is getting towards the weekend. It's Friday now, so probably a few lads getting down here early, knowing that the lake's going to be busy. But anyway, I'll catch up with you next week when hopefully I'll be on the fish again, if I'm lucky. If you're in the market for some new butt rests, then take a look at these butt grippers from Avid Carp. They're made from a robust plastic with a soft touch ribbed inner that offers excellent grip. There are 2 sizes available, which are small for abbreviated handles and large for Duplon and cork. They retail at $3.99 each, and you can find more details about them at avidcarp.com. All I seem to do these days is dash about everywhere. I've been at Botley Pool this morning for a couple of days, and then I quickly got packed up there. I was down there with Avid and raced up the motorway knowing that this place would be busy because it's that time of year when everybody's out, they know the fish are feeding. It was quite busy, so I dashed to a swim with my gear, set my stuff up, then had a walk round, and in the end ended up packing up and changing swim. So today it's not a case of getting the rods out first, it's a case of getting the kettle on. I used to, whenever I got to a lake when I was a younger lad, I used to always make sure the rods went out first. That was always the priority. It didn't matter whether it was raining, snowing, sleeting or anything, but these days it tends to be get myself settled, get myself calmed down a little bit, then I'll put the rods out after I've had a cup of tea. So that's what I'm going to do now, is have a brew, and then I'll talk you through the swim for my final session of the year on my winter syndicate. So when anglers turn around to you and say keep your eyes on the water, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be seeing much water from that bivvy because I've set it up facing the bushes, because this evening, although it is sunny now, this evening we're going to get some really strong winds coming in, and the last thing I want is the rain, which is also forecast, going into the bivvy door. So yep, it's like that at the moment, but I know full well I've definitely done the right thing. I was on here last week, not on this particular swim, on the bank down there to the left as you look at it, and again the wind was so strong across the lake. You're talking about 30 acres of water here, so when it does blow it does pick up, and it can be proper uncomfortable when the rain's driving into your bivvy. So yep, it might look a bit odd at the moment, but I can always get out the bivvy and have a look if I want, stick the chair out and sit and do a bit of carp spotting. But there is a reason behind why it's like that, although it will be interesting if I get a take in the night and seeing what happens, whether I run into the bushes or not, because that's the kind of stupid thing that I'd do. At last I can relax, so I've finally got the rods out. It seems to have been a long day today where I've just been dashing around. Yeah, that moment when you just, all you want to do is get the rods out, it's happened. You can sit back, you can have a bite to eat. I've done that, and now I'm in a position to tell you a little bit about the swim. This is an area that I've not fished before, and it's called Footprint. It is on the northern bank of the lake, and what we've got at the moment is like a southwesterly that's blowing straight across the water, and it's been blowing now for a few days. But the reason I've come in here is I originally set up in a swim known as Phil's, which was on the western bank. There was nobody set up on that area, but there was a couple of lads set up on this bank already, and I've never really fished in this area yet. I saw there was a couple of lads fishing on this bank, and I thought it might have been a bit tight, but as soon as I got myself set up in Phil's, I then came for a walk around here with the dog, and I could see actually that there was quite a lot of space between the two anglers who were already set up on here. The reason why I favoured this bank was because it's been doing quite a lot of bites in the last few weeks, especially the next door swim, which is called Bailiffs. There's a lad in there now, Gary, who's been on here for a couple of days. He's had a couple of nice fish, and I thought this swim would interfere with that water, but when I've come around here and had a look, it's actually a good old walk to the next door swim, so that's why I've come round here. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass moving swim again, having already set up over in Phil's, but I definitely feel a lot better in this area because this is the area where the fish have been getting caught from, and I do know there's been quite a lot of fish showing out in the middle area. Now, when I first came onto this winter syndicate, I was told that this lake isn't worth fishing because it's a one swim water. What you've basically got in the shallows is a roped off area, and in the summer months the fish just congregate in that area, and apparently up until spawning time, and you can get some really big hits in there. But at this time of the year, it is definitely not a one swim water. This lake, whilst I've been a member, has done quite a lot of bites all over the place, especially from out in that open water where I know it is just like a safe area for the fish, because most people on here can only cast about 30 raps maximum, and to get to the middle area it's at least a 40 rap chuck. With the rules that you've got on the lake, there's no way anybody's chucking that sort of distance, because on this lake at the moment the rules are in place. Just let this train go past. Is that you've got to use 0.4mm line, which is about 20 pounds. That's what I'm using, and you can only use 3.5 ounce leads as well. So I don't know anybody who can cast 40 raps with that kind of setup. I'm struggling to get 30 raps in the best conditions, but with this little breeze blowing at the moment, I'm actually just reaching about 28, so it's a little bit hard going, but as long as I'm in that area, I know I'm not going to be too far away from the fish, so I'm fairly happy. And basically what I've done is just put the marker float out there. I've already had a good check around this area before with the echo sounder when there was nobody on the lake, and I know it's pretty uniform, but there are a couple of ups and downs in front. So there's a little plateau to the right, which is more in the next door swim, and you've also got a nice little hump at about 28 raps where it comes up to about 11 to 12 foot. And that's the area that I'm concentrating on. I've put a couple of rods to that area. I've not put too much bait out. I've just gone out in the boat and scattered a little bit of pellet and some crushed boilies as well. I'm just using the bug from DNA, and just scattered it all over the area, trying to get the fish grubbing around but not picking up too much bait and overfilling themselves. And then all I'm doing is just casting the single hook baits to the area. So that's basically it. Not got a great deal of space left and right of me because there are other anglers, as I say, but there is a lot of water between me and Gary, who's to the left in Bailey, so I don't want to interfere with his area. He's currently catching fish, and there definitely is an old school feel to this lake in that you don't impede on other people's water, especially if they're catching fish, and I don't like doing that anyway. It was something I used to do when I was younger, and as I've got older I definitely understand the carp fishing etiquette a lot better than I used to do when I was a young lad, when it was all about just getting those rods on the fish as much as I possibly could do. Carp fishing etiquette is definitely something that comes to you as you get a little bit older. It is something I will touch on at some stage in one of my vlogs, because the more I fish the day ticket waters, you definitely don't see much carp fishing etiquette, so it is nice to be on a lake like this where there is a lot of that old school feel about the place. And yeah, it's good to be here. It's my last session, so let's hope I can get amongst the fish, because last week when I was down here it was a big fat blank for me, but they are coming out and I know I'm in the area, so you never know. Absolutely crazy. 41-pound mirror. Just mega. There you go. The other side of it. Awesome. What a winter. Well, tired face this morning, but a happy man anyway, because I've had a 41-pound mirror in the night, and a bit of a comedy of errors with it as well, because the older I get, the more I seem to do daft things. I mentioned this last month when I did one of my vlogs, and I don't know how I did it, but I got out the bed when I had this bite. I put my shoes on, but I put them on the wrong feet, so I had my left shoe on my right foot. So I was hobbling all over the place. I don't know how I got out the door, but I've managed to break the zip on the bivvy door because I fell through it. I don't know what happened, I can't remember. And then I'll just show you, staggering down to the rods, down all of there, I ended up tripping over. I don't know where I tripped over, but I ended up on my knees whilst the rod was blading off. So a bit of a comedy of errors, but I managed to get the fish in. And yeah, 40 pounder is always going to be welcome on a March morning, and it is definitely a nice morning. The wind swung around a little bit now. It's blowing more westerly, probably more in favour of the swims on that bank. Big double, and where I fished before, but I've only got one night left, so I'm going to stick it out in here. There's definitely some fish around here because Gaz, one of the other members, had a few from the swim to my left a few days ago, and just to the right of there is where I've ended up catching that fish, so they're still out there. One day left on the winter ticket, so I can't really say come on carp gods, because I've had a fantastic winter as it is already, but I would definitely love another one before we finish tomorrow. So, but either way, I'm definitely not complaining. So what's on the menu tonight then, Crowbar? Oh my word, it's exactly the same thing that I ate yesterday, and the same that I ate in the last vlog. Yep, that's me all over, that is. I once had a few problems with my guts actually. I went to the doctors a few years ago because I was getting this IBS problem, and they said it's probably got something to do with you eating the same food all the time. But at least I've got a different soup this week, vegetable soup, and that's probably why I got it wrong last month, because as you can see it's a green label, and what was it, broccoli and Stilton that I picked up last month. Oh, foul. But this is definitely going to be enjoyable tonight. Much looking forward to it, so let's get tucked in. Something worth talking about. What are you guys like when you're in the bivvy and you're cooking your dinner? And I'm not talking about when you go overseas on one of these week-long excursions and you can take a separate cooking area. I'm talking about when you're in England on a lake, like a day ticket water or syndicate water, and you've just got your bivvy. And what I've got here is my bed chair. I've got a chair on top of my bed chair. I've got my pan with my dinner in, which is balancing on my tummy. I've got my phone, which is what I'm watching at the moment, because I'm watching Anthony Joshua, Jermaine Franklin, his fight week, so it's the build up to that. He's balancing on my knee, so I'm sat here trying to watch that, eat my dinner. I'm absolutely amazed that no tackle company has come up with something that allows you to sit on top of your bed chair, in a chair, with a little table and something to support either your tablet, your phone, so you can watch it. We're all doing it, you know, we all say we're sitting there watching the water, and don't get me wrong, I do watch the water a lot of the time, but most of the time when I'm eating my dinner or cooking my dinner, it's here and I'm watching something like fight week. When it's fight week, I'm glued to it, and at the moment it's Jermaine Franklin versus Anthony Joshua, and all I'm watching is loads of YouTube stuff to do with the build up to that, and it's the same when any kind of sporting occasions on. So I'm not watching the water at the moment, I'm watching that because it's enjoyable, and obviously it's much comfortable to just sit here and just watch something in front. So if you work for a tackle company, make something. I've been saying it to Avid for a while. I've no doubt there's lots of different reasons why things aren't coming out in this kind of department, but if you're out there working for a tackle company, come up with something that makes it much more comfortable for blokes to sit here eating the dinner, either watching the lake, watching a tablet, so you're not sat here balancing all sorts of different things. What an absolutely brilliant way to finish. 2 40-pounders on my last trip. Absolutely brilliant fishing at an amazing lake. Thanks for watching.